babe, it's India. Welcome back or welcome to my channel. Today's video is going to be part 2 of my beginner witch tips. After I filmed that video, first of all, babe, if you haven't already seen part 1, be sure you go and watch that one after this one. They're in no particular order. But after I finished filming that video later that night, I was like, okay, I should have said this, I should have said this, I should have said this. So I was like, you know what? Let me go ahead and do a part 2. So if you are new to witchcraft, you are a new witch. Honestly, I would consider myself a new witch. I've only been practicing for 5 years since I first had my spiritual awakening. So these are just things that I've learned over the last 5 years that I feel like I want to share, especially when you're just starting out. So let's go ahead and talk about number 1, which is going to be no one is here to give you permission. This one really hits because honestly, I feel like most of us are coming from religion because religion is normalized in this 3D reality. And when you're leaving religion, when you're leaving the church and you're moving into being a sovereign being and you're going through your spiritual journey and you want to start participating in witchcraft, it's kind of like, okay, so who's going to tell me that this is okay? Who's gonna tell me that this is fine? Who's gonna tell me that this is safe to do this? And I feel like that's one of the things that really prolongs our journey and really like makes us be like on again, off again, on again, off again. Like at one point you're doing tons of spell work every day or every couple of days, and then you just do nothing for like weeks or months, because I feel like internally and like subconsciously you're just kind of like, is it okay for me to do this? Because witchcraft is demonized. let's not act like it's normal and that everyone is like, oh, it's fine. Like most people don't really understand what witchcraft is because of the way it's portrayed in movies and the way they make witches out to be, when in fact witches are really just like herbalists. They're medicine women. They're women who work with earth. They work with nature. They work with the moon. They work with herbs and crystals and things that are natural in the 3D realm. Like there's really nothing crazy about it. What is so insane about saying that I would like to manifest this amount of money or this job or, you know, a loving relationship or really good friends, or I want to make sure my business is going to be super successful, or I want to gain more followers on social media, and you decide to write what you want on a candle, add herbs to it that come from earth that correspond with whatever it is that you want to manifest, and you literally maybe add some crystals or some tarot cards or do whatever, and you meditate with it, you put your energy into it, you light it, and that is your spell. And we have been taught that this is wrong, which is crazy. It literally makes no sense. Like all women should be practicing witchcraft. If you are seeing this video and you have been interested but you haven't done it yet, this is your sign, okay? This is your sign. We are honestly just getting back to what is most natural. This witchcraft, lighting candles, using herbs, like making herbal tinctures and oils and setting your intentions with stuff and working with energy and full moons and new moons, like this is original earth. This is how things were originally before Christianity came along and religions came along, and you have to do this and follow these rules, and you need to be a part of this church and give all your power away and worship this specific being or whatever. Like we're literally going back to our roots by doing this, and nobody is coming to tell you that it's okay for you to do it. You literally have to decide for yourself, this is something I want to do, and then you start doing it and you continue to do it. You don't have to overload yourself, but you work through it. Which brings me to number 2, which is the only way you're going to learn is through practice. Okay, of course you're going to do a lot of research. I've done lots of research. I have several books, I've watched lots of videos, I've researched things online, and even with all of that, it's like all you're doing is watching people and reading stuff. You have to actually do the spells yourself. You have to actually make the jars. You have to actually do the cleaning, make the floor washes, make the window washes. You have to actually create your altar. You have to meditate. You have to work with the crystals. You have to do all of that, not just watching people, right? You're only going to learn by doing. You're like, okay, well, I don't know how to do a spell. Well, look it up. Read about it, research it, and then do it. And this leads me to number 3, which is writing everything down. So when you are doing your spells, write down what you're doing. As you get better and better, you won't need to keep going back to your grimoire to try to be like, okay, like what was working here, what's not. But you are first starting out, it's super important to like write down what's going on. Like I write down the candle colors that I used, what herbs that I used, if I used any crystals, if I used any tarot cards, what day of the week it is, right? What moon cycle is going on, what sign is the moon in, like what sign is the sun in, like looking at all these things. Did you do it in the morning? Did you do it at night? Like what else was going on in your life around this time? Why did you feel like you needed to do this spell? Like what did you do it for? All of those things are important to write down and keep track when you're just starting out, because if it works, you want to monitor your results. So like if you do so one time I did a candle spell. Before I was a spiritual guide, I was a beauty influencer. If you haven't seen my welcome video, I've been on YouTube since like 2014, right? I started off with hair tutorials. So one time I was doing a spell to manifest a brand deal. Literally, I did the spell to just get more brand deals in general, and literally a few days later, I got a 5-figure brand deal. So of course I wrote that down, right? I had already written down everything that I had done, but then I also went back and wrote down, this is what happened, because I might want to recreate that spell again in the future, right? But if I don't write it down, I won't be able to. So be sure that you write everything down. That is what the grimoire is for. A grimoire is literally just all of your witchy things in one place. And now I have 2 books, because I have one where I write down like things that I've researched, things that I get from other people, spells I get from other people, things I learn about witchcraft from other people. And then in my other book, I write down what I personally do, because just because you said do the spell like this, or this is what you did, I may not have those herbs, or I may not have that candle, and I can just do a variation of what you've done. And I write that down in my personal grimoire. So I have one for research and one for my personal experience. My next tip is going to be, don't do multiple spells at once. When you are just starting out, there is no need for you to have a candle going for glamour magic, a money candle going, a protection candle going, a road opener going. You're making jars. You're doing too much. You're doing too much. Literally just do one thing at a time. Like it doesn't have to be every single day, like doing a bunch of different spells. You don't even have to do spell work every day. Like it's in the small things, that you're doing, which I mentioned in part 1. So be sure you go and watch that, okay? But yeah, you don't have to overwhelm yourself. You don't have to do so much every single day. Literally, if you do 1 or 2 things a week, great. If you want to do something every day, do it every day. But there's no need for you to have like all these spells going at once as a beginner, because you literally just can't give out the energy to focus on all of that at once. Which leads me to my next tip, which is going to be sitting with your spell every day. Now, this will only be the case if you're doing like a 7-day candle, right? Or a 3-day candle, which I always talk about candles and candle magic because it's my favorite form of spell work. I always do candle magic, and I have an ebook on it. So check the description box down below for that. It's going to give you all the details on how to do candle magic from beginning to end, like everything that you need to know. Okay. So if you do a 3-day or a 7-day candle, you're going to want to sit with it every day. You don't want to just have it up there and just go about your day. Like you want to give energy. You want to give energy. You want to focus on it. The purpose of this candle that you're doing, this spell that you're doing, is to remind yourself and your subconscious of what you're manifesting. So you want to sit with it. You want to meditate with it. You want to do something with the candle. So let's say you do like a glamour magic spell candle. It's like a pink candle with all your like self-love herbs and stuff like that. Sit and do a meditation with the candle, right? You can also script, maybe. You could journal with it while you have it lit. You could sit with the candle and maybe hold some rose quartz and do a meditation with that. You can have your candle burning while you do your makeup and speak your affirmations. If you're not wearing makeup, while you do your skincare and speak your affirmations, right? Like visit the candle on a daily basis. Visit the spell. This is leading me to my next tip, which is don't do the spell if you don't have the energy to do it. Sometimes we want to do a certain spell because it's a certain day of the week. So like maybe it's Jupiter day, it's Thursday, right? And you want to do a money spell, but let's say you're super tired. You just did so much today. You're really exhausted. You know it's Thursday and you know you want to do the spell, but you're tired. I would just not do it because you're not going to be able to give your best to it. You're not going to be able to give your all. You're not going to be able to give the energy to it. You're not going to be you know, like in your zone and like excited about what you're doing because you're tired and you're exhausted. And it's like, don't worry about it. This is why I say, like, don't only look at days of the week, but also look at what sign the moon is in, what sign the sun is in, like what moon cycle is going on. Is it a full moon, a new moon, a waning moon, a waxing moon? Like maybe you missed Thursday for the money spell, but guess what? Venus also rules over money. So maybe you could do it on Friday. Do you see what I'm saying? This is why you have to research and study and know about these things so that it makes sense. And maybe you're like, okay, well, just forget all that because there's a full moon in 3 days. So I'll just wait and do it then. Like, you have to research and you have to know. But my point with this one is, if you don't have the energy for the spell, don't do the spell. My next tip is going to be, do not tell anyone that you're doing spell work. Now, I'm a content creator. So yes, of course, my spell work is going to be on the internet, right? But I never share anything until I'm done with it. Like, I'm not gonna do a spell for something and then like immediately like take a video and post it while the spell is going on. Like, whatever I share, please know that it's been done. Like I already did it, it's been done. And I feel like that's best. Like, everybody does not need to know. They just don't. And that's just, honestly, this is a tip with just anything in life. Be quiet, bro. Everybody doesn't have to know everything that you're doing. Like, it's not that it's a secret, it's just that, especially while you have a spell going on, you don't know people like for real. And sometimes people think they have good intentions, but they just don't. And I'm not saying that, I mean, obviously you're a protected being, right? For the most part, the majority, many people, I'm not even gonna say the majority, but many people, especially if you're doing spell work, like, and you're the witch in your bloodline, like, you're protected. So other people's energy is not really gonna get to you, but it's like, you just don't even need to, let's not even take a chance, right? Like, let's just keep what we're doing to ourselves and just be quiet. And if you want to share it after it's done, then share it after it's done. But like, there's no need for everybody to know what you're doing when you're doing it. The last thing I want to mention is going to be about ancestors, spirit guides, and deities. So when you first get into witchcraft, you may see people be like, oh, I'm a Venus devotee, or I'm a Hecate devotee, or I'm working with my ancestors, or I'm working with my spirit guides, or I'm working with Persephone, or whatever, right? You don't have to do this. Number one, you don't have to pick a deity. You don't have to work with a deity. You don't have to do, I named Persephone and Hecate, but there's also like the Orishas as well. You don't have to do this. Like, you don't have to work with a deity, but I would recommend honestly, before you even like start working with the deity, there's nothing wrong with just like researching and learning about which ones you may be interested in, but you should probably start with like ancestor work and spirit guide work, because those are like your people, right? Like, your spirit guides are assigned to you, and obviously your ancestors are your ancestors. So like, that's your bloodline, right? So you definitely should probably start there first before you're like, oh, let me go, you know, start working with Hecate. Like, you just passed over everybody who's related to you. You know what I mean? However, you don't have to do it. You don't have to make an ancestor altar or work with your spirit guides or, you know, be devoted to a deity or whatever. It's completely up to you. But just know, like, if you're going to start somewhere, like, start with your ancestors and your spirit guides. I think those are pretty much all of my tips for this video. If I come up with anything else, I can do a part 3. If you have any questions, babe, be sure to leave it in the comment section down below, and I can add it to a part 3 if, you know, we have enough to do a 3rd video. But yeah, hopefully you enjoyed this video, babe. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in my next one. Bye.